On today's Mega News, we're talking about UDON's new line of Mega Man comics known as Mega Man Timelines. An awesome idea on paper, however, a few of the more recent cover reveals have left Mega Man fans stunned, and not in the most positive of ways. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Mega News. I'm ShadowRock, and if you are one of the people who have been asking me to finally talk about UDON's Mega Man comics, you've come to the right place. Let's start from the beginning and work our way to the present. In July of last year at San Diego Comic-Con, UDON dropped the bombshell that they have acquired the comic book license for the robot timeline of the Mega Man series. Notice I said robot timeline. That means Mega Man Classic, Mega Man X, Mega Man Legends, Zero, and ZX. That does not include Battle Network or Star Force, because those two are in a whole other ball game of their own, since many aspects of those series are shared by different parties, not just Capcom. For example, the PET pet designs, are owned by one or more toy companies. So that's why it's a licensing nightmare to do anything with Battle Network or Star Force. But leaving those aside, the robot timeline in itself still holds a ton of possibilities for exciting comics. Previously we had the Archie comics written by Ian Flynn, and after two back-to-back crossover arcs with Sonic the Hedgehog, the comics met an abrupt end as they were starting to gear up for Mega Man 4 in the storyline, and they were even starting to branch out into a Mega Man X comic. And regardless of how you felt about the Archie comics, personally I really liked it. I did feel like the crossover was getting drawn out and they should have focused more on continuing the core Mega Man story. But other than that, I did enjoy the characterizations and some of the new characters that they brought into the comic. I thought it was a lot of fun. However, now that UDON has the rights, obviously the Archie comics are not going to continue. We're going to get a whole new batch of stuff. And a bunch of stuff we will get, as the first round of news came in November of last year with the reveal of the first Mega Man Classic comic, which will be part of Free Comic Book Day in 2025. That's actually on May 3rd, so it's still coming up. The art for the issue is done by Jeffrey Cruz, who is a well-known name in the Mega Man space, having done artwork for several UDON and Capcom projects, which even includes Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and Mega Man Master Mix. And the story is being written by Tavis Maiden. This issue is known as Mega Man number 0, and the cover here would place the comic after Mega Man 11, based on the fact that Mega Man is in his 11 design here. That is very interesting. We can see he's surrounded by many robot masters from several different games, a Metar, Eat, Roll at the counter for Roll's refreshments, and it looks like they're in an amusement park of some kind, possibly even Clownman stage, because if you look at the right side, they ripped the shutter that the angry trains come out of straight out of Mega Man 8. You can tell because it's pixelated compared to everything else. So that's a funny detail. I did not expect to see the angry trains return in comic form. And indeed, according to Rockman Corner, this is a one-shot comic that is going for a silly vibe, so the tone is not going to be reflective of the rest of the comics, which are going to come after, starting with Mega Man number 1, which, and I quote, promises to bring the cool. Fast forward to February of this year, and Matt Moylan, the director of publishing at UDON, shared a glimpse into their plans for these comics. This is where we saw the words Mega Man Timelines for the first time. 5 monthly one-shot comics crossing 5 eras of super fighting robots. There you have it. Instead of just focusing on Classic for now, UDON looked us dead in the eyes and said, why not all of them? This is just my personal theory, but what I think they're doing here is doing a one-shot for each of the series that they have the rights to. From there, they're going to look at the sales data for each of the issues, figure out which of the sub-series is the best seller, and then turn that into a full-on comic series. In other words, Legends fans, you better pull your weight so you get a full-on Legends comic. ZX fans, you too. Cause I'm not gonna lie, you got some stiff competition when you're up against Classic, X, and Zero. But mostly Classic and X, they're the most popular series by far. But then again, I'm a massive X fanboy, so I'm down for any X comic. The Mega Man Timeline series starts on May 28th with Mega Man number 1, that's the classic one-shot. And from there, each month, we're going to be getting another one-shot in Robot Timeline order. Each series is going to be handled by a different writer and artist. So let's go down the list here and talk about who's behind these one-shots. Again, on May 28th, we have Mega Man Timelines number 1, and just like number 0, Tava's Maiden will be penning the story, and the art is by Kenny Ruiz. Mega Man X Timelines number 1 follows in June. The story is by Daniel Arsenault, perhaps better known as the Proto Man, and art is by Edwin Huang. And hey, the next 3 one-shots have some familiar names attached to them. Mega Man Zero Timelines comes in July, and it's penned by none other than Ian Flynn from the Mega Man Archie comics, also known for his work on the Sonic the Hedgehog series more recently. And the art is going to be by Hanzo Steinbach. Mega Man ZX Timelines comes in August, and Matt Moylan is going to be doing the story, and Dax Gordine handling the artwork. He is best known for his comedic and cartoony art style that he's done for Marvel Comics. Keep that in mind, we'll come back to it. Penning the story for Mega Man Legends Timelines in September is David Oxford, perhaps better known around these parts as LBD Night Train, also known as the admin for the MegaManNetwork.com. It goes without saying that he's someone that I've personally gotten to know through our mini collabs and the fact that Mega News has been featured on his website. He's also one of the biggest Mega Man Legends fans that I know. In fact, right before this announcement, he was doing his own Mega Man Legends fanfics. So I may be biased in saying this, but if anyone can do Legends justice, it's David. Congrats, man. Things get more interesting when we hear who's doing the artwork, which is Mick Fong. Do you remember the Mega Man Dreamwave comics? He worked on those. So yeah, what a fascinating team up with this Legends comic. That might be the one shot out of the bunch I'm looking forward to the most. Not only because of who's behind it, but also the Legends series itself has some of the most rich storytelling out of the whole robot timeline. And I think it's going to lend itself very well to a comic format, especially with the whimsical shenanigans that the Bonds are going to get up to, right? Anyway, that's our general lineup, and that brings us to today, where we're in the middle of the hype cycle waiting for May to come around. In the meantime, UDON has been sharing cover reveals and story synopsises. So far just for Classic and X, but I'm sure the rest are soon to follow. Take a look at our first Timelines comic, which of course is Classic Mega Man. The cover art is done by the same main artist, Kenny Ruiz. The cover is still clearly Mega Man 11 themed, noting Mega Man's design, but also the fact that all of 11's Robot Masters are exactly where they would be on the stage select screen. Actually, I see Dr. Wily in the center there too. Well, just as Tai at least. The story synopsis for Mega Man number 1 reads as follows. In this first explosive issue, the original Mega Man takes on 2 fiery Robot Masters hell-bent on city-wide destruction. Can he stop them before it's too late? Fight, Mega Man, for everlasting peace! Now, when they say 2 fiery Robot Masters, first of all, do you know how little that narrows it down? Jokes aside, if the story actually does follow Mega Man 11, Torchman seems like a safe guess. Other than that, we got a bunch of choices really. Fireman, Heatman, Flame Man, Burner Man, Agma Man. There's a lot of choices. It's just a matter of guessing who's the 2 it's gonna be. All I can say is, at least it sounds like they're not gonna be rehashing Mega Man 1 or 2 again. Which, considering that Archie Comics already covered those eras of Mega Man, it would have made for a pretty boring one-shot, so I'm definitely glad that they seem to be going for the other end of the timeline. It's going to be very interesting if they actually do a post-Mega Man 11 story. Now for each of these issues, we're going to have a ton of different variant covers, and I do mean a ton. There's like 5 give or take covers for Classic and X each, which honestly feels like too much considering these are supposed to be one-shots that are testing the waters. But yeah, for whatever reason, they're really going all in on this. More power to them. Anyway, for the Classic covers, Cover B features Mega Man desperately trying to fight off an army of Mets. We wish him luck there. And the artwork is done by John Samariva. Cover C is a blank cover with just a logo, which seems weird for anyone who's not familiar with how comics work, but basically the blank covers exist so that you can get someone to draw a unique cover for you, get an autograph, maybe even design your own cover. And the idea is that the blank covers that are illustrated on by someone will add more value to that comic, either for having a unique piece in your collection or for reselling purposes. Next, we have a special collaboration with Spectral Comics, featuring 2 unique variant covers illustrated by UDON, one featuring Mega Man in his 11 design, and Proto Man also with an 11-esque design. Remember, Proto Man never showed up in Mega Man 11, so having an 11 design for him at all is pretty crazy. Both covers have no logos or word marks or anything like that, it's just those illustrations. By the way, if those poses look familiar to you, they should, because yeah, it's based off of the Mega Man Maverick Hunter X box art. Nevertheless, kinda neat. Both of these covers are said to be exclusively available through Spectral Comics and Rabbit Comics online. So if you want these, you have to pre-order through them. But wait, there's one more. The 6th cover is from illustrator Andrew Dickman, who I hear was surprised to learn that UDON, for whatever reason, has decided to reuse his collage that was originally featured in Mega Man Tribute, an arts book that UDON put out a whopping 15 years ago that features a collection of Mega Man fan art from several different artists. So yep, here we have a 15-year-old collage featuring characters from all 5 Robot Timeline series, not just Classic. And the collage is so huge that you're going to have to spread both sides of the book to see the full image. That's unique at least, but yeah, you have to wonder, was reusing old artwork actually necessary? Do they really need 5 covers? 6 if you include the blank cover. Is this a shameless advertisement for one of UDON's older books? You decide. Well, unfortunately, this is only the beginning of the oddities with the covers, as we now get into Mega Man X timelines, which just got their cover reveals a few days ago as I'm recording this. Cover A by Edwin is actually rather awesome. I am loving it, for the most part anyway, as friend to the channel, Rockman HQ, pointed out that there's something not quite right about X's legs. They look swayed to one side, and in all honesty, X's right leg looks like it's almost put on backwards. Oh, and just like the classic cover, we also have a stage select in the background, this time featuring the X1 Mavericks, along with Sigma too. Interestingly, it's their Maverick Hunter X designs to boot. We got a reoccurring theme going on with these covers. Matt Moylan actually took to social media to confirm that this is indeed intentional, and he does credit Edwin for this idea to unify all of their A covers. In this case with the X cover, there is a story significant reason why it's the X1 Mavericks, because it turns out this is an X1 story. The story synopsis reads as follows. The X generation of Mega Man adventures is here. In this wall-jumping, buster-blasting one-shot, X and Zero track down a rogue Maverick Reploid, the ice-cool Chill Penguin. Plus, secrets revealed. How will the future change once X learns what he's truly fighting for? So yep, this seems to be X1 era during the Chill Penguin stage. Except in this timeline, Zero is actually helping out X with it. I also wouldn't be surprised if we have an appearance from the Dr. Light capsule, X getting the leg parts and all that. And maybe that ties into what this future changing thing is in the synopsis. Maybe Dr. Light tells X something that changes his worldview on the Maverick War. Now that we know that the cover seems to match the era that the story is taking place in, by that logic, maybe we can deduce that the classic comic is gonna be Mega Man 11 era. Neato. Alright, back to your regularly scheduled weird comic covers. Alright then, how about cover B, done by Hansel Steinbach. Here we have a design that's been done a few times before, even by Capcom, where we see X's internals, and oh my god, what is wrong with his hand? Is that even a hand? It looks like it melted. So, I'm not going to make any assumptions, but there has been some debate online about whether this is an AI hand or not. Last time I checked, at least, the verdict seemed to be that it's actually a hallmark of Steinbach's art style. I did my due diligence and looked through his portfolio to see if I could spot any similarities, and I could kinda see it, but at the same time, the hands featured in his other works are quite a bit more defined than what we see here with his X. So it's probably not AI, but even then, I can't say it's his greatest work ever. And I'm just being completely honest, I don't know how this made it by in editing. Not that I'm one to talk, I've had my fair share of mistakes get by me in editing. I've had my fair share of mistakes get by me and Mega Quint in editing before. It happens. It really does. All that said though, man, that's weird. Moving on to cover C, we have Edwin doing the art once again, featuring a cool action shot of X and Zero taking out what looks like to be some Reploids, and you see pieces flying off of them, explosions in the background. Very awesome. The weird thing I noticed about this one is, if this is indeed an X1 story, why is it the X2 Zero design that we see in this cover? Unless this is actually taking place in Mega Man Extreme on the Game Boy, then it would make sense. But that's the only explanation I can think of. Unless they simply don't care about continuity with their variant covers, because cover D seems to be yet another pull from the Mega Man tribute book, an art piece by Jeffrey Cruz that is not strictly X related, but instead compiles the supporting cast from all over the robot timeline. I admit I don't have the tribute book myself, but if this is indeed from that book, that seems to be another reoccurring theme we have here, where one of the variant covers from each issue is going to be some old artwork. I wonder if all of these are going to mix sub-series together, because yeah, it is an odd choice for a classic or X-specific comic. Lastly, of course, cover E is a blank cover. I wish I could say this is the end of the weird comic covers, but there's more. On Twitter X, user Chaos Impact posted this sneak peek of the Mega Man Timelines comics, where we get our first glimpses of the cover A's for Zero, ZX, and Legends. Let's see, Zero's is just chef's kiss, perfect. Legends is super fitting, got kind of a cutesy art style for Volnet that does fit the tone for the series, and Teaselbon is looking pretty cool over there in the corner. You also notice that indeed all of these still have the stage select grid pattern in the background, but then you look at ZX and oh no, what happened here? So remember when I said that Dax Gordine has a funny, cartoony art style? Oh, it definitely shows. And it's not even that the artwork is bad, it's actually good on its own merit. The thing about it that makes you feel bad for the ZX fans is the fact that it sticks out like a sore thumb compared to all the other artworks on the page, which unfortunately has led to complaints online that if the assignment was to make a cool, eye-catching cover, UDON picked the wrong artist for the job. It's a sucky situation all around because these artists are talented, there's no question about that. The way I see it is, the direction behind the scenes hasn't been on point. I like to be positive as much as I can and enjoy things for what they are, but even I can't deny there is some weirdness here and there for sure. The good news though is we haven't even read the stories yet. That's going to be the true test of the quality of these comics, is the stories that are within them, not just what's on the front cover. Obviously you do want the cover to be eye-catching and make you want to buy the comic in the first place, and we'll see in the future how effective they are at doing that. But at the end of the day, if I can open up the book and I end up enjoying the visuals and story that is within, that is what counts. The jury is still out on that part, but I am still optimistic that it's going to turn out fine, if not great. Because the one thing you can't deny is that many of the names attached to this project are genuine Mega Man fans. We've always said that when Capcom fails to deliver the goods for the Blue Bomber, the fans will take over and keep the spirit alive, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. We know how passionate Mega Man fans are, so weird covers aside, time will tell if that passion does shine through in the final product, and I hope it does. One thing I have been considering is doing discussions on this channel for each of the Mega Man Timelines comics that come out, so we could do our own little review and talk about if they did turn out good or not. Is that something you would like to see? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, what do you make of Mega Man Timeline so far? Are you going to be picking up the issues? At the very least, you may want to take advantage of free comic book day and get Mega Man number 0, because hey, free comic. Maybe it will give us a solid enough glimpse into the paid stuff when we have to shell out $5 US a piece. Until that day comes, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned to ShadowRockZX for all things Mega Man and more Mega news like this one. I would also like to say I appreciate the support from our channel members. Thank you all so much. And if you want to see more from the channel, I have my Mega Memories retrospective series that I'm working on, where I talk about growing up with Mega Man and my first memories of each Mega Man game going in the order that I experienced them as a kid. I am also live streaming more frequently now, and I will be posting stream schedules every Sunday on the channel community tab and social media as well. Come on by, we'd love to have you. Alright guys, thank you all once again, and until the next one, rock on and have yourselves a great time zone.